Hey everybody, welcome back. Here with me is Paint Bar to teach you how to create a painting with a lovely dolphin in a sunset. I'm going to go over my materials very quickly before we get started. I have my 8x10 canvas panel, some paper towels, a cup with some water in it, my brushes, some paper plates to mix up your colors on, and this is going to be my palette I'm working with today. I have red, blue, and yellow, so your primary colors, some black and white paint, and also this fluorescent violet. Now, you only need about 3 brushes to create this painting. You would at least want one large square flat brush, one small pointy brush, and then some brush that's in between. Now, of course, if you have more, that's fantastic, but you only need those 3 to start off with. Let's get started. We're gonna go ahead and make our background first. It's a bunch of beautiful purples and pinks. So on a mixing plate, I'm going to grab my big square brush. I'm gonna be mixing up my lightest color. I'm gonna grab just a little tiny bit of white, a big scoop of my fluorescent violet, maybe 2 big scoops, and a very small touch of red. I'm going to mix those up, getting this nice magenta. I might even want to lighten it up just a touch, just a little bit of white. Play with this color, doesn't need to be exactly like mine. You can even do a completely different color like a green or an orange. This is your painting, feel free to make it your own. Once we have that color mixed up, go ahead and clean off your brush. I like to just kind of whisk it along the bottom of my water cup and then go to my paper towel to get the excess paint off and to dry it off. Next color we're going to make is a pretty purple. I'm going to start off with a little tiny dash of white, big scoop of fluorescent violet or 2, and a very small touch of blue. Once you get that color mixed up, go ahead and rinse off your brush again, and we are ready to get started. I'm going to go back into my lighter magenta pink color, and first thing we're going to do is draw a line, not right in the center, but a little bit above center. This is going to divide our canvas into 2 sections. One is going to be the sky, and the other is going to be the water. I'm going to use just the tip edge of my brush, facing straight down, go all the way across. All right, gonna go ahead and work on the water. So I'm gonna do about 1 to 2 inches of this magenta right below that line, using the full width of my brush, going back and forth across my canvas. From there, I'm going to add little dashes of this magenta until I get to about halfway down my water. From there, I'm going to clean off my brush, and we're going to be getting into our purple. I'm going to start off by leaving about 1 inch or 2 at the bottom of my canvas and putting a line above that. Then from there, I'm slowly going to work my way up towards this pink. Once I reach it, I'm going to start to add those little dash marks, same way we did with the pink, but filling in those gaps so there are no white spaces in between. Last step for our water is going to be adding the blue. So I'm just going to use straight blue from my palette. I'm going to bring it down here at the bottom. I'm going to start to work it in with the purple with those little brush strokes, those little dash marks. Now, if you feel like you don't have enough purple or enough pink, you can go back into those colors and add dashes of those on top of this once it's dry. Let it dry first. We're gonna go ahead and move to our sky next. Clean brush, gonna start in our pink, and we're gonna start along the top edge, giving myself about an inch of this color. And then working a couple dashes of it to about the halfway point in our sky. Moving then into our purple, leaving about an inch or two down at the bottom, and then adding those tick marks in with the pink to fill in those gaps. We're basically just mimicking what we did with our water, now in our sky. And then of course, last step here is going to be with that blue. Just be careful along that edge so you can keep it nice and crisp, a nice even line. Get those tick marks in. And now we're going to let our painting dry. Give yourself about 10 to 15 minutes for it to dry, or you can make it quicker by using something like a blow dryer. Now, once your painting's dry, you can decide whether or not you want to add any more colors on top. I think I want this to be a little bit more purple and a little bit less blue. So I'm going to mix up more purple paint and layer more purple over top of this blue just to take a little bit of it away. And then I also want to add a couple more pink streaks over top just to give the illusion of a nice highlight. I'm just going to use the tip of my brush, get some nice thin lines. Now you may need to take a second dry break before we continue on. All right, next step, we're going to focus on our sun. We're going to be mixing up a yellow color. So let's grab another mixing plate. Now I'm going to grab a medium brush. Mine's round at the end. It's okay if yours is squared at the end. A nice flat brush. I'm going to grab about a half scoop of white and 1 scoop of yellow and mix those up. You still want it to be pretty bright, but the white paint's going to make it thick so that you don't see the blues, the pinks, the purples shine through that yellow. All right, so our sun is going to be like a semicircle, basically cutting a circle in half. Our sun is going to be about 4 to 5 fingers wide. So you can even put your hand in the center and then put a little mark on either side of your hand above this horizon line. From there, you can go ahead and draw your semicircle, just like a rainbow. And fill that in. And then we're going to be adding some highlights of yellow in our water. So we're going to switch over to a small pointy brush, get into that yellow paint. I like to swirl my brush, twirl it. And we're going to be drawing lines underneath our sun, which are going to be longer at the top. And as we work our way down, they're going to get a little shorter. You can feel free to stagger them. Now, while this yellow paint is still wet, we're going to add a couple of highlights in our sun with just some pure white paint. I'm going to use my pointy brush and just going to start to swivel some of this white paint in a couple of places. Or you could even use a bigger brush and get some chunkier highlights if that's what you like. Next up, we're going to talk about our dolphin. We're going to be using a tiny pointy brush in some black paint. And first we want to identify where its tail is going to be sitting in our water. So about 1 inch or 2 up from the bottom, about 1 inch or 2 in from the right side. I'm going to draw a line about 1 inch long. And that's where my dolphin is kind of entering the water with its tail, or I guess exiting the water with its body. Now first I'm going to draw the underside of my dolphin. I'm going to be starting right here on the left side of that line and drawing a rainbow shape over to the left. Then I'm going to draw out his mouth. So I'm going to draw a C shape, like an elongated C shape. And then to draw the top part of his body, from that point, we're going to bring the line upwards and then bring it all the way down to the right side of that line. Now you can adjust a little bit of this if you want. You want this part of the body to be the thickest. So if this part is thinner or the same thickness as the tail, you'll want to widen it up a little bit. And I think I will widen it up to mine. Then you can draw your fins. Think of your fins as little triangles. So we have a little triangle down here at the bottom, and a little triangle up here at the top, not right in the middle, but to the right, just a touch. Once you have your dolphin drawn out and you really like how it looks, you can go ahead and fill it in. Okay, next step, we're going to add the last final touches into the highlight area of our water. I'm going to use a pointy brush, and I'm not going to use the actual brush side. I'm actually going to use the handle. I'm going to dip it into some white paint, and I'm going to poke a couple times in a couple different rows in the highlight. It gives it that glimmer, like it's sparkling. All right, we're getting really close to finishing here with our painting. We're going to be adding a couple of splash lines at the bottom where our dolphin is exiting the water. So we're going to need to mix up a nice purpley magenta color. Still going to use my pointy brush, tiny bit of white, scoop of fluorescent violet, a touch of red, and a very, very small touch of blue. So first I'm going to start off with drawing a couple of lines. It's really random, a bunch of different lengths. Want some movement in the water. Put a couple little like dots in there. And then I'm going to do the same thing with fewer dots and lines with a lighter pink. I'm going to grab a scoop of white with a clean brush, a little bit of red, a little bit of fluorescent violet. I want it to be nice and pale. Add some splash marks. Now, once you're done with your painting, feel free to add anything extra that you may like. Maybe you want to add some stars to your sky, or a mermaid in the water, or a boat, or an island, or anything like that. Feel free to add those personal touches to it. But of course, when you are done, there is a step we all should do, and that is to sign your painting. A lot of people sign it in the bottom right corner, but you're more than welcome to sign it wherever you wish. And that's it, we did it. We created a very fun sunset painting with a very cute dolphin. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and we would love to see how your paintings turned out. You can post them in the comments below or tag us on social media at Miss Paint Bar. If you guys did enjoy your time, feel free to like and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you again next time.